inaugural Developers A-List, curated by Forbes India, powered by Jaquar Group, with Knight Frank as knowledge partner, unfolded in the heart of the national capital as a landmark celebration of India's luxury real estate. Conceived as a tribute to visionaries shaping India's skylines, the evening set out to honor ambition, innovation, and legacy. From the red carpet, guests were ushered into an immersive pre-function arena with an iconic tunnel that turned arrival into theatre, replete with artistic installations and fine dining grazing tables. The anticipation gave way to awe when Maestro Neeladri Kumar took the stage, his electrifying sitar performance fusing classical roots with contemporary energy. With the audience spellbound, Saveen Sinha, editor of Forbes India, extended a warm welcome and set the evening in motion.
It is an honor and a privilege to have you all here. The first and most crucial step was to define what luxury was when we were talking about luxury residences. And we had to talk about it because the surge of real estate in the years after COVID is being driven by luxury residences, and there are many reasons for it. You will find it in our magazine and on our website. This is not just about construction of luxury homes. This has its own ripple effect. Related industries develop, high-end appliances, furniture, home decor, etc., etc. It's one big ecosystem, and we feel that responsibility, which is why we had to make this exercise extremely scientific and unbiased.
The spotlight then turned to the institution behind this celebration, Jaquar Group, an Indian brand admired worldwide. It has built 6 decades of trust and design excellence. Under the joint stewardship of Shri Krishan Mehra, Ajay Mehra and Rajesh Mehra, the group has truly embodied the Make in India ethos. And on this occasion, Director and promoter Mr. Rajesh Mehra took the stage to deliver his keynote address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are in the presence of some of the finest minds of our time. They are the leaders in the truest sense, not just building structures, but futures. Turning India's landscape into an ever-expanding urban skyline, this evening is about recognizing the leaders who are engineering India's future and our partners in progress. In the last 25-odd years, India has evolved incredibly, creating opportunities for manufacturers and industry players to grow with it and surpass the expectations of the masses. Before us lies a chance to create and not wait. True market leaders are driven not by statistics or turnovers, but by a vision to reshape the industry for the better. The dynamics of our industry have fundamentally changed. What used to be dominated by affordable accommodation has now transformed. I know some of the gentlemen sitting here won't agree with me, but sir, please consider this. Today, nearly 60 to 70% of the real estate market is led by upper premium and luxury segments. This is not a passing trend, but it is a new benchmark, the new normal. It's a clear proof that the Indian consumer aspires for higher value propositions, and it is our collective responsibility to deliver it. This is the reality we have built together, and this reality is rooted in innovation. From how we construct to how we create, innovation is the only cornerstone. It is the key to organic growth and beating heart of the industries. That's why we must continue to challenge ourselves to relentlessly pursue the next big initiative. It is the spirit of innovative thinking that brings us all together today. The Forbes India Developers A-List is not just a recognition, it's a celebration of the resilient spirit of this fraternity. We honor their consistent efforts that add value to the industry, a new meaning to the lives of the customers, and strength to the very foundation of India's growth story. I'm sure you would all agree that the true leadership is born out of conviction and a thirst for more. And a select few are brave enough to explore the uncharted waters that come with this thirst. This platform commends these bold visionaries. A little about us. Today, Jaquar Group is present in over 55 countries, and our products figure in the best of the luxury hotels, landmark residences, prestigious institutional buildings, and iconic spaces across the globe. Our reach is amplified through Jaquar World Showrooms, one of the largest experiential chains in our category worldwide. At Jaquar Group, we have always believed that you don't wait for the market to evolve on its own, but help create it. True leadership is not measured by numbers alone, but by the ability to shape and transform the market itself. That, in our view, is the role of a true and a real leader. At the heart of this philosophy lies innovation, which helps one get better, grow stronger, and remain relevant. It is the only way to grow organically and meaningfully. For us, innovation is the courage to reimagine and rewrite the future. Jaquar is proud to have partnered with Forbes India for the Developers A-List to bring this community of nation builders together. Our aim is to spark the powerful conversations that will define the next chapter of Indian real estate and chart a course of limitless growth. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish all of you a very happy and a very enjoyable evening further. Thank you so much indeed.
Forbes India Developers A-List, powered by Jaquar Group.
Following Mr. Rajesh Mehra's keynote, the focus shifted from legacy to the future. This set the stage for the Fireside chat, Cities of the Future, Luxury, Livability and Responsibility, with Network 18's Anand Narsimhan in conversation with interior designer Suzanne Khan and Dikshu Kukreja, Managing Principal at CP Kukreja Architects.
Now today in this gathering, there are those जिनके बनाए हुए घरों में हम रह चुके हैं या रह रहे हैं in the Delhi NCR. So, and it's always been pleasurable, but I'm talking to two people who are creating those homes, and we're talking about A-List Developers A-List at the Forbes platform. So first of all, congratulations to all of you. Suzanne, let me ask you, how many people and how does Bharat and developers today, more importantly, buyers, consumers today, how do they define luxury? And does that definition need to change?
So I think that is a very important question that as a designer and a creator, I keep at the back of my head, is that when we are designing for a development or a project, how do we define luxury? So according to me, I have seen through the years, luxury has been changing, meaning. A lot of people think that if they have very expensive things, they are, in the most luxurious environment. But as we are getting more in touch with ourselves, I think it's very important to understand that the greatest form of luxury is intentional luxury, where you create an environment which is cohesive for feeling a great amount of love and warmth so that you can grow and you can better your environment in whatever you do, whether it's a father at work, a mother with her family, or she's a working mother, or the child. Wherever these people are going, they should feel, a sense of a home that probably has an automated system, but an automated system that gives you a warmth of understanding that, okay, when I need to kind of keep this certain, a certain lights on in my kids' room, or certain kind of what's the temperature under my floor. So I think that there are ways that we should, as designers, promote luxury for the client without only making it about expensive brands and expensive materials, because I think that creating, conversation and creating moments of exchange between the family is more about luxury to me.
Agree, disagree, Dikshu?
I completely agree. And Anand, what I feel about luxury, that really it is a reflection of society, reflection of the times. I was just, when we were driving here, I was just thinking about it, that what was luxury 20 years ago? Somebody owning a car actually claimed that he had the luxury. Today, people are looking not for a car, but they are actually talking about walkable cities. They are talking about e-vehicles. They are talking about place like Delhi, clean air and fresh water. That's a luxury. And 20 years from now, the whole definition is going to change. I think silence, peace, the ecosystem, that's what people will call luxury. So I think luxury is always an evolving and changing phenomena. But in this developer community, I think it's very important for us to realize that importing things from around the world is not luxury. What is luxury today is sustainability, is livability. I call that luxury.
Also, the adding of the country we live in, India, is so rich in architecture and art. So whatever we do, if we create a luxurious experience of creating a product for that home, which is a dying art or something that is super, intricate to make, that itself is an heirloom for the family to pass on to the next generation from part of our heritage. So I think that is also a thoughtful and mindful luxury. It's involving what we have in our own environment, in our own space, and designers who have the talent to eclectically mix and create that definition of quiet luxury, and bringing in the old and the new and technology. Don't get me wrong, I love technology. I love a modern home. But having the mix of all of these items together is truly luxury for me.
So you mean things like even craftsmanship?
Absolutely.
Handmade things.
Yes.
They are now becoming a luxury in homes, in buildings, how you can bring it art, motifs, all these aspects, I think. No, so art and architecture and culture, I think these are now evolving luxuries.
They're evolving now? You think it's changing?
They are. I see a lot of developments are, going towards that, creating more mindful experiences for their families who are living in that property, and I value that because they are going towards that. But I definitely feel we can do more. We can, as designers, we can probably work with the developers to think more, and as creators, we can create new India identity, which should actually be the platform, not to run to the West to choose the designs, but make our heritage the platform that gives you the power that, okay, fine, and people come to us. You know what I mean? So I think that designers have that and architects have that, they have that responsibility towards our Indian heritage and culture.
So let me ask you this. There are developers and A-listers here with more than 3 to 4 decades in the business. You yourself share more than 3 decades and in your profession in this. Till date, has anybody come to you and said, I want you to work on this project because this is net zero from day one? Has anybody said, that's my badge value? Every brand that I'm using, from the cement to the pipes, to the taps, to every other equipment, we have picked these brands because they are sustainable. My badge value, my story for this project is that it's net zero from day one and it's sustainable. Has anybody done that?
So, Anand, I'll tell you this. It's a very good question, and I think the time has come. The time has come for Indian design Indian luxury to be out there. I think the Indian fashion industry has already made its waves across the world. But now, earlier, yes, the developers, when they would be talking to us about projects, the unique list would be what was imported from where. That had to be chapoed on the brochure. But now you see more and more developers are talking about all the environmental features that are there in the project, whether it is net zero energy, net zero water, and things like that are becoming sort of the new luxury. But I think we all have a responsibility towards that. We can't just expect the developers to suddenly realize this. We can't expect just the designers to go out there and keep fighting for it. The media has an equally important role.
Absolutely.
Discussions like this will evolve our sensibilities. So I think it's happening. And just for example, I'll tell you, like Suzanne does a lot of international work. We have now started doing projects across the world. And not just us. I mean, Indian designers, I would say, are being sought after outside. It's changing. The whole concept of notion of luxury.
I fully agree with Dikshu. It's fully changing.
So let me ask you this. Are you as architects and developers now going to say, amount of water I need to use to wash my hands? Is it sustainable? Building projects, do they have rainwater harvesting? Is it already happening? Recycling of water, is this possible? Can we get to that? There's got to be a push and pull as clients, as buyers, as home buyers. We need to ask these questions too. And there are many who are doing it. But I'm just saying, is that possible? We'll come to the final round of conversation with that.
So I think the developer world also is really evolving in that sense. More and more developers. I see two friends sitting right here, Gitambar Anand, Sahil Vachani. Developers are becoming more and more sensitive towards these issues. So on the one side, the environmental aspects, sustainability measures, and on the other side, the design finesse. So all these things are evolving in India. And when we talk about them or us working together on deciding what products come together in a project, more and more aspects are being looked at now. Selection of products is on the basis of how environmentally friendly they are. How even going into their manufacturing process, what kind of carbon credits they are generating. So I believe we are on the right path. I believe it's very important that we keep raising this issue more and more because look, developers are also at the end of the day building for society. So if people are sensitive about it, then the developers would want to do that. And then we'll be doing more and more of that. So I think the buck doesn't stop with them or with me, it stops with you. You have to bring as a media out there this sensibility and we'll all do it.
Like I said, we are doing our jobs. At the end of the day, we can talk about it. But you are the people who will act about it.
Of course, I'm just kidding.
Back goes and I toss it back into your court. But
I think we all have to take equal responsibility. I don't think anything is a one-man show.
She's playing third umpire here. Okay, yeah.
I think it's all equal responsibility. All of us are equally
from our own
can contribute and create an awareness. And I think we are going in that direction. I think we are.
Okay, last but not the least, let's start with what we began, or let's end with what we started with. Can we redefine luxury? How we define in our country what is luxury? And can we bring in a certain quotient of our culture, our heritage, sustainability, all of this? And how much time is it going to take to do that?
So I think in a short nutshell, for me, luxury is an emotion. It is a feeling that you make the other one feel with what you create for that person and that family. And like I said, it's a combination of, intentional design, thought-provoking materials, and intentional spaces within that complex or within that environment, which are green and which are exceptionally giving out of creating an energy for those people. So it's a combination of all this that kind of defines what I call like quiet luxury.
Yeah, you think government, RERA, they can codify luxury and include sustainability, include carbon, credits, include net zero as one of the qualities or one of the boxes that need to be ticked, one of the stars that you got to get to call yourself a luxury brand or a luxury developer or a luxury project?
So there are now systems that are in place. You're talking about RERA, but then there are many other systems, whether it's IGBC, whether it's GREHA, and these kind of sort of mathematical, measurable parameters that have come into the world of design, which measure how sustainable the project is, how green it is, and therefore, I would call. So for me, luxury and sustainability or livability are two sides of the same coin. They just can't go separate from each other. And this is my feeling, that the future is not going to be about just talking about how tall buildings you are making, how high they are reaching for the sky, but I believe it's going to be about how gently they are touching the ground. So it's really about how these buildings will coexist with nature, how contextual they will be to where they are being built. That's going to be the luxury of the future.
Well, on that note, as on cue, we're going to call it a wrap. Thank you very, very much, Suzanne Khan and Dikshu. Thank you, Dikshu Kukreja. Big round of applause, please. Thank you.
Forbes India Developers A-List, powered by Jaquar Group.
After an illuminating exchange on the future of cities, the spotlight turned to sustainability. It was in this spirit that the panel Green Meets Smart, the new language of sustainable luxury began, featuring Rajiv Mishra of JJ College of Architecture, Kamal Sagar of Total Environment Building Systems, Yatin Pandya of Footprints Earth, and Parvez Amin of Jaquar Group, and moderated by Money Control's Shweta Punj.
Can I begin with you, Mr. Mishra?
Sure.
Let's start from the very beginning. When we started, this whole real estate boom started in India, from then to now, where do we see the focus and emphasis on sustainability? How have we seen it evolve and grow?
See, the sustainability issue started in India with the Environment Protection Act of 1986, where it is now required that every development that takes place in any city in India, there is an environment committee before which they have to present their works, any developer of any kind. And there are certain parameters of environment sustainability that forces them to follow. So there is no choice but to follow. So the idea is sustainability is something that you cannot now live without. It's no more a luxury, it is a requirement.
It's a requirement. That's fascinating. Mr. Kamal Sagar, when we travel to cities, right, somewhere I find that all our cities are looking very similar to each other when it comes to design and architecture. And a lot of it is inspired by the Western concept. We have glass facades, which are not very suitable for the Indian climate, but we've copied that design. Do we see a change in that, or is that the best design that we can really think of?
Well, I think I continue to believe that real estate, is still largely designed on the spreadsheets by investors and financiers, and to a great extent, that starts governing how things are designed. But customers are becoming more demanding, and I think people are realizing that, and the change is slowly coming into the country, where design is more meaningful and is going beyond just gimmick and sales-based design, which is stuff that look good on the brochures and or will attract customers to buy. I think it's going beyond that now.
Okay. Mr. Pandya, I wanted to get a sense from you on, luxury is considered about exclusivity. We talk about if this is luxurious, it's an exclusive experience. So is sustainability still in that category?
Post-pandemic, we need to refer to history in a different time frame. Rather than BC and AD, we need to say before Corona and after Corona, BC and AC. The reason being that it very well convinced and taught us about those fundamental values of equality to begin with, plurality, sustainability, as well as all the ETs that we talk about. So what I'm trying to say is that we need to change our notion of what is luxury as well as what is sustainability. It's a more holistic concept. Luxury is not being big, often small may be beautiful. Luxury may be being with nature and being with people, because these are the two fundamentals of any existence that we learned post-pandemic, that any sustainable development or any kind of sustained existence is about human to human equilibrium or sustainability or symbiosis, or human to nature.
Completely agree, nature is luxury. Mr. Amin, we had a little trivia quiz in the earlier session on how sustainable Jaguar is in the kind of recycling that Jaguar has been doing. So I want to ask you, when you have clients, do they ask for a sustainable product option? Is that something, and does that cost more money?
Yes, there's a lot of demand for eco-friendly green products. And I think more and more, in fact, our Artis brand is completely green. And in Jaguar brand also, we have a lot of options. So yeah, the demand for eco products is going up, and I'm sure the developers are pushing the envelope in giving better products, better amenities, and in the center of all that is sustainability. So yes, we are geared up. I mean, we are backing up the developers in giving these kind of products.
Interesting. Mr. Mishra, when you teach your students, when you talk to them about the amazing architecture of our country, are there any historical examples that you use in your conversations? What, according to you, are the most sustainable buildings that India can boast of?
I think all our monuments in India have been designed without the use of electricity.
Right. They're wonderful.
They are very well ventilated. They are very comfortable to go to.
Yes.
And all examples of vernacular architecture based on the regions in India are actually best examples of vernacular art. So when we teach students in architecture schools, we ask them to study the local architecture, local building material, local craftsmanship, and how they could do actually a beautiful design out of it. So the design thinking, design concept, design development, design delivery has to be local. You may think globally, but you have to deliver locally. And this is very important.
But is that getting implemented? Mr. Sagar, as Mr. Mishra pointed out, that's what students are taught. But then, like I said, a lot of our buildings look very similar. We're not being very creative in our design. And when it comes to incorporating nature in our, in our architecture and design, it's still not the norm. It might be an exception. Why is that?
Why is it not the norm to bring nature into our buildings?
Yes, and why is it that, why are we not experimenting enough in the way we are designing our buildings? In Delhi, for instance, you have the Terry building, which is considered to be a green building. But a lot of the new developments that are coming up, I don't think any of them would meet like a sustainable building criteria. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
We have been doing exactly that since 1996. So every single home that we build has a garden on whatever floor it's on, right? And it's typically pretty large, where many of the rooms open out into that garden. So it's something we have been doing. And I think the reason why very few others are doing it is because maybe that garden is considered an outdoor space. It does consume the same FSI. So when you sell it, maybe people are worried that they won't be able to sell that space, and that's the reason they don't do it. Other reasons, I think, maybe they're worried about waterproofing or something like that, and that, having to deal with issues later. I don't know, but we have been doing this for 30 years now. Green roofs, terrace gardens, step gardens, all kinds of gardens, and all kinds of ways to connect with nature. And it is not a big deal to do it.
Mr. Pandya, do you think there's an opportunity for India to build its own sustainable design concept? Somewhere we can, where we can become an example for the world to follow?
No, absolutely. And I think not being sort of self-boasting, but India had always had these values fundamentally ingrained, I would say, right in its way of life. Sustainability begins from way of life. There was a study done in Japan that if these senior executives were relieved of their tight tuxedo kind of a dressing, they'll feel the same level of comfort with fewer degree warmer AC temperatures. So it was the wrong dressing having to jack up the energy and the AC. So if Mr. Mohanlal or people from the Kerala or the coastal region are wearing the mond and if they are bare-chested, are they primitive or they are appropriately dressed for the hot, dry climate, hot, humid climate? So what I'm saying is that right from whether it's the attire, whether it's a lifestyle, whether it's the food habits, whether it's the, most sensible thing to do in a hot climate is to have siesta. Again, rather than going by the wristwatch, you can be by the body clock. So that's why warmer places have the routine of siesta. So I think each place must develop its own norm that picks up from the realities as well as aspirations of the place and people, because it has to be responsive to place, people, and planet. So I think it's high time that we don't ape it, rather than we evolve and remember that what we had in our own legacy. And it's not boasting past again, but for 3 performance reasons we could look at them. One, for their timeless aesthetics, that even today, 1,000-year or century-old monuments we like, or it inspires awe. Why can't we create today's architecture that would have the same quality? So learn those principles. Second, when there was no electricity and yet there was comfort as well as convenience, we actually admire the buildings of the past in every way. Can we learn those principles that even if you have to use AC, only sometime and only little? And third, they were from the place and for the place, and therefore they were socio-culturally appropriate. There's nothing like good, bad, or ugly. It's always appropriate and inappropriate. We have to play like a doctor. He doesn't go with a preconceived notion कि आजकल तो fog चल रहा है, आजकल तो ये virus है. He has to look at each patient on its own merit. So I think India needs to develop, and I would further take it, not even India. I think each region has to have its own norm of development, which is appropriate in a larger context, place, people, and planet.
That sounds so wonderful. It really sounds wonderful, and I do hope that we get to see that in our lifetimes. Mr. Amin, do you feel that there has been a change in what people are asking for? Do you get a lot of requests for sustainable items? And do you see a change in buying behavior? Are people leaning towards getting more sustainable products into their homes?
Yeah, see, post-COVID, we have seen a remarkable shift in the way India is consuming overall. From a savings economy, we have moved to a consumption economy. And parallelly, the aspirations of the customers have changed dramatically. But in center of all this, green products, eco products has become the new norm, especially the millennials, the Gen Z. They're very conscious about these kind of things. We have made a lot of inroads on those areas. Like we have water reduction faucets, right from 30% to 80% water saving. We have aspirational products like wellness, which comes with recycling facilities. 15 to 20 times you can recycle the water. So that saves a lot of water. We have heat pumps, which reduces energy by 75%, bringing down CO2 emissions, and parallelly giving you all-weather experience. So these are the efforts in that direction, yeah.
I wanted to get a perspective from all of you on this. That is it that if I were to go for a sustainable home option, would it cost me more in today's times? Is the cost of construction higher? Is the maintenance higher? Is there a premium to it that I'll have to pay for as a consumer?
No, yeah, I think reinventing the past traditional technology will help you invent better future. And therefore, how you use technology, how you adapt technology so that you get best of both will reduce the cost. And this is something that people should ask for, they should aspire for. They should remember that by doing this, by participating in this, they are saving their own environment. The quality of life will improve, urbanism will improve.
But are the developers offering us with this option? Are there options there?
Now, most of the component of the land cost goes to the high pricing of the apartments. I think if developers, I think Sir said, they are very demanding, the consumers are demanding. If developers who are already sensitized are requested by the consumers that we want this, nothing less than this, then developers have no option but to supply. And they should be willing to pay them, and they will be very happy to do it. I think this understanding, if comes and is implemented as a reform, as a policy reform, I think it should be doable. And the cost doesn't matter, because what are you doing? What are you paying for? For yourself. So it doesn't matter.
Interesting. Mr. Sagar, in terms of consumer awareness, to spread awareness that consumers should go out and ask for a sustainable home, are we doing enough? Are developers doing enough? Are, as a society, culturally, are we doing enough to create that awareness?
So I think no. The simple answer to that is no, I don't think we're doing enough. I don't think there's enough commitment from anyone in the system, not the government, not the people, not the developers. There's very low level of commitment as of now. I think there are very basic issues. People are still stretching their budgets to buy a home. And of course, it's different in cities like Bombay and Delhi, where the cost of land is so high that whatever difference you make on those things doesn't impact the pricing. But in places like Bangalore, it does. And so even to your question about, are customers really asking for those things? They are not. The answer is no, they are not. They are absolutely not. It may be 1%, maybe 0.5%, but 99% of them are not even talking about it. And that's the stark reality as of today.
But right. Government can give incentives.
The government is giving
incentives in two ways. One is, like in Maharashtra, there is a subsidy on the charges for premium FSI if your building is green certified, and that's quite a significant amount. So people are trying to do that to get that benefit. There are banks that are offering interest rates at, loans at lower interest rates if your building is green certified. So those are ways to kind of encourage that to happen.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you all discuss what is a very crucial issue. We do hope that our developers go back with some interesting ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Forbes India Developers A-List, powered by Jaquar Group.
The highlight of the evening was the felicitation of the Forbes India Developers A-List, a roll of honor celebrating the visionaries who had not just raised buildings, but raised benchmarks for Indian real estate. Presided over by Honorable Minister for Home, Power, Urban Development, Education and Training, Government of Delhi NCT, Shri Ashish Sood. The ceremony recognized companies whose work had redefined skylines and reshaped aspirations. The ceremony began with Panchsheel Realty, one of India's finest luxury developers, which had delivered over 35 million square feet of landmark projects, with much more underway. Founder and chairman, Mr. Atul Chordia, came forward to receive the honor. Next was the Prestige Group, among South India's largest and most diversified players, with a portfolio spanning homes, malls and hospitality. The award was received by Ms. Uzma Irfan, Director of Prestige Group. This was followed by Century Real Estate, a Bengaluru stalwart with 5 decades of leadership in residential, commercial and plotted developments. Executive Director, Mr. Ashwin Pai, accepted the recognition. From Delhi NCR, Max Estates was honored for enhancing the quality of life through visionary spaces. Managing Director and CEO, Mr. Sahil Vachani, came on stage to receive the award. Total Environment Building Systems was celebrated for its design-led, eco-sensitive homes that invited nature indoors. Founder and chairman Mr. Kamal Sagar accepted the felicitation. Ajmera Realty, a heritage developer that had long combined value with quality, was next. Director Mr. Rushi Ajmera received the award. Talk Limited was celebrated as one of Delhi's leading luxury developers, blending modern design with premium addresses. The award was received by CEO and MD, Mr. Amar Sareen. Brigade Group, a diversified force with projects in residential, commercial, retail, hospitality and education, was next to be honored. Mr. Vineet Verma, MD, WTC and Director, Brigade Hospitality, accepted the recognition. Godrej Properties was felicitated for fusing the Godrej legacy of trust with the spirit of innovation across India. Mr. Ankur Agarwal received the award on behalf of the company. From Hyderabad, My Home Group was recognized for its large residential townships and commercial hubs that helped define the city's growth. Mr. M.K. Ravisai accepted the honor. PS Group, a Kolkata leader in sustainable and community-driven projects, was next to be celebrated. Director Mr. Arun Sancheti came on stage to receive the recognition. Lodha Group, one of India's largest developers with landmark projects across housing and infrastructure, was then honored. The felicitation was accepted by Mr. Prashant Bindal, Chief Sales Officer. Phoenix Mills was recognized for pioneering retail-led mixed-use destinations that had redefined urban engagement. Mr. Raghav Vajoria accepted the award on behalf of Phoenix Mills. Runwal Group was celebrated for high-quality residential, commercial and retail developments that had earned the trust of generations. Mr. Sanjay Sharma came forward to receive the honor. Embassy Group, a key player shaping India's landscape with residential, commercial and SEZ projects, was next to be felicitated. Mr. Vikas Khandelwal accepted the award on behalf of the group. From Mumbai, Oberoi Realty was recognized for its premium homes and commercial projects that redefined luxury living. Mr. Sameer Chaddha received the recognition. DLF Limited, India's largest publicly listed real estate company with iconic projects in Delhi NCR and beyond, was honored next. Mr. Divya Puri received the award on behalf of DLF. Central Park was felicitated for its experiential communities in Gurugram that embodied lifestyle-driven living. Mr. Ankush Kaul accepted the honor. And finally, Sobha Realty was celebrated for its expertise in luxury homes, villas and turnkey projects across India. Ms. Shilpa Malik stepped forward to accept the recognition. As the final honor was conferred, the Developers A-List came together on stage. Shoulder to shoulder as architects of ambition and authors of India's skylines, united in a shared vision for a brighter future. The Developers A-List concluded as an evening of vision and grandeur, from captivating conversations to honoring India's top developers. It showcased that true luxury lies not in square feet, but in imagination, responsibility, and legacy. An unforgettable celebration, raising the toast to horizons ever rising, ever inspiring.
Forbes India Developers A-List, powered by Jaquar Group.